Okay, hello everybody. I think I finally figured this out. It only takes me about a half hour every single time I try to go live. So let me see how we're doing. If I did do this correctly, let's see if you are around and you're here live. Give me a thumbs up, give me a comment so that I know I'm doing everything correctly because I'm probably not. Let me just move some of these around. I guess that's not going to go any lower. Okay, so yes, I am live. Awesome. Takes me literally a half hour, and that was because this was hiding the go live sign button. What I am here to talk to you about today is March Mammal Madness. So I know that obviously we are no longer in the month of March. However, March Mammal Madness mimics basketball's March Madness. So that's why it takes place. The materials come out usually in late February, and it takes place the month of March. And usually by the end of March, maybe the beginning of April, you will know who the champion is going to be in March Mammal Madness. So while this event has already been done, for many of you who don't know anything about March Mammal Madness, this is something that can definitely be done at the end of the school year. And I think in some ways, I do kind of wish they would push this. I know there are different end of terms for all of us. I know for me in New York, we don't get out until I think it's June 25th this year. And I know there are some schools that are almost done. So I guess it would be kind of hard for them to be able to do something like that, but I definitely recommend you doing this with your students. I used two of my observations. We could observe twice a year. Both of my observations were done using different March Mammal Madness aspects, and my admin absolutely loved it. So what happens is I'm going to share this folder that I have all different March Mammal Madness materials with you. Some of this is from the people that make March Mammal Madness. We have a group of educators from, I believe, the University of Arizona that put this whole entire thing together for free. It is absolutely amazing. They come up with the brackets, which I'm going to show you. I believe, no, that's the YouTube video. They have videos for everything. You'll see here, so they send this out in at the end of February, and this gives you a lot of materials that you can use on your own in your classroom. Again, everything is free. Nobody should be selling anything like this. This is a completely free event. Um, that you can use with your students. So what you would want to do is sign up using the educator request form so that next year you'll be able to get these for free as well. And if you continue to be in my Facebook group, I will give you guys a heads up because I love, love, love this event. It's amazing. So what they do is they come up with a bracket, just like in March Madness, where they have the 64 teams, they have the actually 65 different animals because they have a wild card. So they have the 65 different animals, and they sometimes will come up with cute little things for what they have in common. Um, Hold on. So you can also just Google March Mammal Madness, and you will see this comes up. And so this has all of the information. You can see they have, I believe this has been going on since 2013. But they really have, you can see the progression of how this is going, and it's absolutely amazing. So the bracket is right here, just so you can get a chance to see what it's like. And you can download this in English and Spanish. I mean, they're really trying to make sure that they are able to reach as many students as possible. They, especially this year with like the digital, they've really been trying. Other educators have been putting in their materials for this. It's amazing. So you have this bracket for the students to fill out. Now for this, what I did was I gave it to my students in Kami. I downloaded the PDF and we shared it in Kami for them to be able to fill this out. I also did have some printable copies, but most of the students are very comfortable with Kami, so that's what they used. And you can see here, what they did was they had different, I guess what was this? Different divisions. So all of these animals had red fur. All of these organisms had something to do with being in the sea. And then these, either their names or the organism themselves, was a myth or like a monster name. And then these all had the scientific names were all tricky. So they all did have something in common. What I really like about Marshmallow Madness is it's not using animals that we necessarily know all the time. It's really bringing these different organisms that you've probably never heard of. And it's letting you know a lot about how these animals act when they are in their environment. So something that I created, because most of my students won't know what these animals are. Let me just try to zoom in a little bit for you. That's probably a little bit. Okay, so we have the Trixie taxonomy. So most of these animals you'll see, I mean, we know what a baboon is, a fruit bat. But some of my students did not know. Myself, I didn't know what the tarsier was, or a mara, a dugong. So what I try to do as soon as possible when I get these materials is put together a Google slide of sorts. So I have the students, they have their brackets, but I want them to make an informed decision when they are trying to see who is going to win in the battle from one another. Um, because going in there with an informed decision is going to help them a little bit more than just, going in there blind and not really knowing anything about any of the animals. So we do have to spend a couple class periods going over this. This year, what I did is I did make an ed puzzle to try to help them along a little bit, because I found when I was doing it with them in class, there are a lot of questions, and it can be very time consuming. So with the ed puzzle, it helped to speed it up just a little bit, and they also had this in front of them. So what I did was I had each organism that were going to battle one another. So you'll see here we have the dugong and the cola cola possum. Now, they will tell you that for the first few rounds, the battles will take place in the organism that has the highest advantage. So for this one, the dugong is ranked first, the cola cola possum is ranked 16th. So it's going to take place in the habitat of the dugong. So I let the students know that information, because again, that's going to help them make an informed decision. And then I give them some information about each of the organisms. Just move that out of the way a little bit. So I let them know for the dugong, they have the picture here so they can get an idea of what it looks like, where it lives, um, what it eats, and where it is in the food chain. And I feel like a lot of this information also will relate back to what we are learning within the curriculum. So it's kind of hitting those points again, but it's now giving them kind of like a um, real life situation where they're going to have to use that information to be able to make educated guesses. So the students will go through this, and what I will usually do to break it up is I will have them do one division at a time. So we'll do the Trixie taxonomy, then red and fur, and you can see again we have the bay cat, the red-rumped goatee. These are animals that we're really not familiar with, and this gives them a little bit more information about that. And they really, really love this. I find that a lot of the students will really be cheering for one of the animals that they just really want them to win. I've had so much success with this. So this is how we will start out, is we'll go over this, and then I have them fill in the first round. You could do whatever you want. It's your classroom. You could have them fill it all in. I've never really done too much with the points, but again, it's your classroom. You can do that. There's many people out there that do a lot with the points, and then they have some sort of a prize. I may implement that next year. Because I've seen on Instagram a lot of people will make like a special Marshmallow Madness trophy for, just to amp up the engagement even more. And I thought that was kind of cool. So this is something that we come back to repeatedly throughout the event, because sometimes as we're moving along in the bracket, the students will forget something about the animal, and they will have this so that they can always refer back to it. And then some other materials that I have as we were going through the divisions. I came up with these Google Forms because I wanted them to really kind of be invested in this, but I also wanted them to have that information as to why they are choosing who they're choosing, and then they're not just going blindly through this and just saying I want a certain animal to win and that's it. So what they would do is, here you can see we have the first battle, so it's going to be the dugong and the musk deer. So I hate to break it to you, but the dugong will win, and he's going to be going up against the musk deer. So again, I give them some of that information. I like to include the information of how the animal behaves, and that can give them clues to make predictions for the future. So they have that information here. They're going to choose. Again, these are all predictions. Like, I don't get mad at the kids if the predictions are wrong or if there's anything. It's supposed to be in good fun, but I do want them to back up their reasoning with evidence, because that is a thread that is throughout learning. You're coming up with this claim. What is your evidence for that? That's something that we should always try to instill in the students, to have some factual evidence behind that. And that's here where they'll give me their reason for winning. And for me, what I do, we use Schoology, so I will assign these through Schoology, and I will give them a certain amount of points. This isn't something that's a huge part of their grade, but it is part of their grade. And if they're writing something like it's big, or something that's very vague, they're not going to get points for it. So that way I am holding them accountable for making sure that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing in the classroom. So as we're moving along in the bracket for each one, I have separate Google Forms for these. And this is what the students will fill out, so that, again, they're gaining that information and then they're able to make educated guesses. A lot of this comes back to the science skills that we're teaching them throughout the year. This is a really great way to do that. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. I get really excited about this. So what really makes Marshmallow Madness amazing is their videos. So I told you we have this huge group of people that do this for free, that not only are they coming out with this, and there's tons of materials here. I should show you that too. So if you choose to do this at the end of your school year, maybe you want to start this in September, you can do that too. It's called Marshmallow Madness, but you have a huge wealth of materials here. Um, where is that? There is a link somewhere where everybody will collaborate. And if they have material, oh, this is it, crowdsourced materials. So people will make their own, Google Slides, like something that I have, and they'll all put that here for other educators to be able to use. So it gives you a description of what it is and a link to the resource. And this is all digital now. We're now in that digital age with COVID. So it makes it very easy for people to be able to share things with one another. We have all of these materials that you can use here. So now that you have all that, for you to know for the following years, this is the schedule. They give the schedule out when they set this up, so that you can kind of plan. I do wish we had a little bit more time to plan, but I get it. These people are doing it. The bracket, once you get that bracket and making the Google slide, it takes some time. So that's why I wish I had a little bit more time to do that. But what these people are doing is absolutely amazing. So what happens is they will have the different events that are here. So this is where the battles will take place. And let me show you one of the battles. This is all school appropriate. My chairperson was coming in to watch me, and she was like, at first I was like, oh my goodness, what is she showing? And then once she saw it, she was hooked. I mean, she kept coming in asking the kids who's winning. She was so into it. So let me see. Oh, here it is. So they make, I wanted to show you one of the battle ones though. I'll show you this. So they make all of these videos for the different battles, but this will explain it and may explain it a little bit more sense than me jumping all around. Okay, so you can sign up. Usually the way that I find the videos is I just have them on the YouTube. Their YouTube channel is Rodent Roundtable. So I'll type it in. Oh, I can actually just go right here. When you click on Rodent Roundtable, I'm just going to show you brief. This is, I don't want to ruin this for you though. Hold on, I'm not doing that because that's going to ruin it. That's the championship. And if you really get into it like I do, you're not going to want to ruin it. So I'm going to show you round one. You can see what I do like is they're 6 minutes in length. So for me, I think it's like 41, 42 minutes. So we start this. It usually takes us, as the rounds are moving on, it takes us less and less time because we'll get shorter and shorter because there's less battles. Um, but it takes us the first 10, 15 minutes of class. The kids are really, really engaged. So, I mean, if you can find some room in your curriculum to add this in, there are ways to have those connections to your curriculum, the connections to ELA standards. It really is super beneficial. But I'm going to show you part of this so you can see what the battles are like so that you don't have images in your head of like what my chairperson did. And for this one this year, they made it as if they were all suspects and they were trying to find out who was the mysterious keeper. So I'll show you this first battle. So you can see there are upsets. I let the students know this all the time. Nobody's going to think that the baboon is really going to lose to a fruit bat, but there are rules to these battles, and if you leave the battlegrounds, then you're going to lose. So something like this is an upset. For the animals that do battle, you're not seeing blood, you're not seeing anything gory or anything like that. You can see how the videos are set up to see that they are extremely school appropriate. Um, and this is something that my students absolutely loved. My administrators loved it too. So I feel very, very strongly about Marshmallow Madness. I know that is no longer March. However, if you can fit this into your curriculum, if you need some sort of project at the end of the school year, something fun to kind of re-engage those students, this is something that I would definitely recommend. I will be sharing my folder with you that has those um, activities that my students completed that can help you out. And then you also have that wealth of information through the Marshmallow Madness website where you can use those crowdsourced materials however you want. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to talk about this. And again, if you are in the Facebook group, I will let you guys know next year when everything drops again. And you can, I believe, on this educator forum, if you go on the Marshmallow Madness website, you can um, sign up for that request, and then they will remind you about this next year, which is really helpful because as a teacher, we need reminders sometimes. But they do send you the reminders. I feel like they sent out a reminder probably in January, so that does kind of give you a little bit of time to be able to plan. But I hope that you like this. I hope this is something that you can use in your classroom, and I will talk to you guys next week.